You asked for it, and here it is. The most affordable home in San Antonio, Texas. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so what we got here is a tiny home. You have a little breakfast nook here, and you have a full kitchen. You have a sink, dishwasher, stove, and you have a space for a refrigerator. We're in the bedroom. It's small, but it's affordable. Guys, so this is going to be a 2-story home. It's going to be over 600 square feet, 2 full baths, and it's going to have this loft area here. Would you live here for $1,000 a month? If so, call me, text me, or message me. Remember, I'm Billy the Realtor, and I sell brand new homes.
Wow. Now, that is an amazing deal, especially after you learn that that house actually also comes with a clown car. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChangeDotShop, and there's a lot of absolutely financially concerning news to get into today, as geopolitically the situation is changing very fast, not just in Ireland, but particularly in Ukraine, where Europe is dealing with some very serious troubles, as domestically it looks like there's going to be a larger bargain and deal made between the current president of Russia and probably the next future president of the United States. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is an altered real estate video coming from Texas, and personally, I'm kind of a fan of tiny homes, but I think a lot of people need to also understand that there's a larger agenda to have people to live in pods, which should have a lot of people questioning the whole tiny home concepts that are being promoted on social media, as financially, this is what people can afford now because of the larger economic war that is fully being waged on the middle and poor classes of the United States, as the cost of real estate, by the way, has gone up and probably will continue to go up, as of course the cost of housing is only going to increase, especially with the more immigrants that are allowed into this country. As of course basic supply and demand economics proves that the more people that want to and need to live in homes, the more the price of homes, rents, as well as utilities will continue to go up from here. And with this Biden administration reintroducing a huge amount of fighting-aged males from the third world into the United States while promising them all the social services and welfare, you could bet your bottom dollar that the cost of living is only going to increase from here. The price of labor? Yeah, that's just going to go down. Wages? Down. Property, real estate, rents? Up, as insane Democratic leftists will now be complaining about the evil landlords, when in reality this is a larger problem created by some of the very same policies that they have instituted and called for. But don't worry, the new Republican-controlled Congress definitely has your best interest at heart. If you were in Israel or Ukraine, as of course the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, announced that aid for Ukraine and Israel is a top priority, as well as making sure that there's going to be a larger technocratic surveillance state, as he is now threatening to involve more legislation into the NDAA defense bill of the United States that will essentially allow the government to spy on you even more, as the Senate now looks with Congress to spend more of your money that they actually don't have, that they will print out of nowhere, that will also create more of a cost of living hazard for the average American, as they now look for an additional $100 billion aid package to foreign countries and to the military-industrial complex, as we're getting new reports, even from CBS News, that's highlighting how typical American households will now have to spend an additional $11,434 each year just to maintain the same standard of living that they enjoyed in 2021. This as inflation is set to hit a record 40-year high as we are going through, of course, Biden economics and a Build Back Better policy that, of course, clearly is screwing everyone over except for very powerful entities that truly do pull the strings behind all the government bureaucrats instituting these policies that are absolutely screwing people over. And that's one reason out of many reasons why the current president of the United States faces a very steep uphill battle for the presidency in 2024, as the economy is a major issue that does play a central role in politics, as even major BLM leaders are coming out and endorsing the lead Republican frontrunner for the presidency, going as far as to announce that the, quote, Democratic Party is not for us, specifically speaking about the black community, as the BLM Rhode Island leader literally came out and officially endorsed President Donald Trump for the 2024 presidential election. A man that will probably play a very central role in ending the conflict in Ukraine. We're going to be talking about that in just a little bit. As of course, you guys know, I have a more nuanced take on this issue that I will be expressing later on today on LukeUnfiltered.com with a special report only available for members. Signing up, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You could sign up for a year, you could sign up for a month. Your support goes towards growing this independent media organization, which you could also support by going to WeAreChangeDotShop and taking a look at our line of supplements. One of the ones that I've been taking recently is, of course, magnesium glycinate, which is absolutely critically important for a lot of people's nervous systems, recovery, sleep, athletic performance, you name it. I started taking this stuff. I've started to calculate the data specifically when it comes to my health, my sleep, which has been going through the roof, my deep sleep, my REM sleep, my time awake down dramatically, all that other stuff up dramatically, specifically correlated with magnesium glycinate, something that, of course, I take with my last meal of the day. And I personally was able to correlate it with better sleep and recovery performance. Now, this is just what happens to me. Will it happen to you? Who knows? Make sure to do your homework, to do your due diligence. Click on the product on WeAreChange.shop. Watch the little informational video that we have available to you, as many Americans are actually deficient in magnesium, which is a major key central role of health in everyone's life, especially when it comes to vitamin D absorption, when it comes to cellular DNA health, as most of our foods now are deficient in the actual minerals and nutrients that they used to have, that they no longer have because of factory mass farmed glyphosate filled products that are filled with defensive chemicals and gut disruptors that are absolutely horrible for you. One of the things that is not horrible for you is, in my opinion, magnesium glycinate. At least it's really good for me. It might be good for you. Make sure to get your blood levels tested. You can't actually test magnesium in your blood, by the way. You kind of got to do it with fat. It's a very complicated process. Just trust me. Do your own homework. Do your own research, because making sure you're not a victim of the full biological and chemical war against you is essentially a full-time job. Supplementation, in my opinion, is absolutely essential now, and something that we need to take seriously and all do. Again, talk to your medical professional, do your own homework, do your own research. Majority of Americans are deficient in magnesium. Make sure you're not one of those individuals. Start your own individual health journey now by going to WeAreChange.shop. As it's fair to say, taking care of your health is absolutely crucial in this day and age where, of course, we have to deal with sicknesses and bugs. As, of course, we got new footage coming out of China where there is allegedly a mysterious pneumonia outbreak that is currently being reported by state-run television there. This, as the Chinese are allegedly back to their disinfecting ways, as the Netherlands is also reporting a huge surge in pneumonia cases amongst children. Is this something to worry about? Is this just people getting sick because it's getting colder out there? Could there be something released from more gain-of-function research and work? What's really going on here? Again, I got to save that for LukeUnfiltered.com, where I will do a special report on this, as of course we have a lot of discredited pseudoscientists of the establishment that previously were caught lying through their teeth and enjoy an absolutely horrible junk food diet. Individuals like Dr. Peter Hotez that are now predicting a, quote, disease X, which, quote, will be 20 times worse than what we dealt with in 2020. Again, is this true? Is this just fear-mongering? Again, can't get into that here. As, of course, this situation internationally is also complicating relations with China that the United States is fully dependent on when it comes to the vast majority of their pharmaceuticals. An issue that's actually important to some presidential hopefuls like Vivek Ramaswamy that have promised to wean America off of, as it's fair to say that that is an issue of national security, as clearly there is also a larger insidious trap devolving between the West and the East, as perfectly represented by the proxy conflict that's unfolding right now in Ukraine, and as we've told you here weeks ago, will probably continue until the next presidential election here in the United States. This news now only being confirmed as we have a new report from Reuters that is detailing how the president of Russia will not deal with Biden on a Ukrainian peace deal. Now officially getting some word from Western-backed sources that it is Russia that is moving away from the negotiation table, as previously it was documented that it was the United States and Ukraine that was doing this. As we are getting reports that have allegedly been confirmed by a senior U.S. State Department official that Putin, quote, will not engage in peace talks until after the 2024 U.S. presidential elections, with Reuters reporting that this is a, quote, strategic wait to assess a potential shift in Washington's support, as clearly the vast majority of Americans do not support this proxy conflict, according to many polls and estimates, which is diverting a lot of funds, a lot of money away from the American people and towards corrupted Ukrainian oligarchs that, according even to many mainline corporate media sources, have been pocketing some of the money that has been given to them. This, as today we are also hearing reports of U.S. nuclear weapons returning to the United Kingdom for the first time in 15 years, as the Daily Telegraph is reporting, as clearly negotiations have broken down between Russia and the United States, which highlights a very troubling situation for the people of Ukraine that have to sustain an unwinnable conflict for that much longer, at least for another year now, probably even longer, as we are getting a lot of reports of a lot of massive casualties on both sides of this conflict, particularly in Ukraine, where already foreign mercenaries from Latin America are doing a lot of the fighting, where there's already a lot of women on the front lines and a lot of elderly men, as men as old as 65 were literally drafted and put on the front lines. Russia also has suffered severe losses on the front lines, as well as the president of Russia is also calling for Russian women to have 8 or more children, as of course the local populations of Russians has been going down dramatically, just like the local populations of the Western world that have been replacing them by importing the third world. Russia also is dealing with a significant number of Muslim immigrants into their country, a major rise in population, especially from the south and east of its country, while the mainline Western-linked population near Moscow is dramatically declining, highlighting a very serious issue not just for Russia, but for the West that is dealing with a very similar problem, as the Russian ladies probably will no longer be babushkas since, a lot of people in the Western world are not having babies. Now, if Joe Biden will not bring in a ceasefire or a peace deal with Russia, who will? Well, it probably will be the future president of the United States, who clearly now looks like will be Donald Trump. Now, with Donald Trump becoming the president of the United States and right away brokering a peace deal with Ukraine and Russia, this would highlight a major political advantage to him for the start of his presidency, which would be of major significance. Will this be the situation that will unfold here, or will there be some other nefarious factions in here trying to stop that from happening by escalating this conflict to grand proportions where there's no going back from a peace deal? That's also something to worry about and consider here, as of course we got to think of all the possible options here, as it looks like currently we are on the trajectory of Donald Trump becoming the president of the United States, and in the first days of his political tenure, ending a major conflict and war, which would be huge for him. Now, do you think that's going to happen? If you say yes, press 1 in the comment section below. But two, if you're someone, in the intelligence agencies, in the State Department, in the Hillary Clinton dominated, influence kind of neoconservative thinking, who's at a major position of power right now, why would you hand your political opponent this kind of easy political victory and layup? What would you do to sabotage it? And if you believe that there will be efforts to sabotage this from the road that we are on right now, press number 2 if you think they will be successful, as I think that's also something else to look out for with potential escalations that could lead towards a more dangerous situation inside of Europe that would prevent a peace deal happening under a new presidency in 2024. That's my current analysis. That's my current kind of assessment of it. If you thought I was right, share this video with your friends and family members. I'm kind of leaning towards myself too, but that's just my own perspective. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively participating in this independent media organization. Members, by the way, get to call into a live show. We have another live show later on today, 7 p.m. Eastern, here on this particular platform. Stay tuned for that. We had a great conversation yesterday too. We're doing major, huge podcast episodes on thebestpoliticalshow.com. Stay tuned for that, plus a lot more, all here on WeAreChange.org.